So with it, you know what I'm saying? With y'all boys, famous Bella Ho in this bitch, you feel me? So, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna break it down. Sag, full moon, um, pretty much how we going through this death of spring and how what we receiving as far as coming to the full accumulation of in this part of the year. Wisdom, knowledge, and experiences that we sowed in planet season and Sagittarius season, basically with that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Influence of power, dealing with that experience, wisdom, and knowledge, birthing off a new idea or vision from that type shit. You know, accumulation of what you could reap from the. You know what I'm saying? I guess you could say material or physical aspect of it, which would be its earth aspect, you know what I'm saying? Gemini, so Caesar, so. And it coming to that full accumulation of now you reaping the seeds that you have planted in that and sowed in that as far as wisdom, knowledge, experiences, birthing off anew. From that is what we collectively, you know what I'm saying, all experiencing, as well as your own individual, you feel me, houses and things of that nature dealing with these signs. So Gemini being what we actually, you know what I'm saying, being pushing out from the what we're receiving and shit of that nature of our actions and how we're viewing, actually taking our, you know what I'm saying, influence of what we you know what I'm saying, giving a spotlight to and things of that nature for it to be showcased for it to be showcased, you know what I'm saying, as character of a, you know what I'm saying, especially the character idea or thought or something that, you know what I'm saying, a frequency that you communicate of how you create your immediate environment and how you can, you see what I'm saying, build a communication in your mind of, you know what I'm saying, between how you see what I'm saying, think of the thoughts and things of those natures that you attach your state of being to when you going through the see what I'm saying, the fire of the spotlight and things of that nature of this sea that we going through in the season that we, you know what I'm saying, it's also planting these seeds as we reap them and things of that nature. So it's gonna be like what we actually, you know what I'm saying, balancing the power of from the seeds that we sowed in Sagittarius season of how we can see these or you know what I'm saying, perceive these wisdom, knowledge, and experience and get a emotion, or you know what I'm saying, create an emotional connection with how we are, you feel me, receiving that, creating an emotional connection with how we are creating that emotion, you know what I'm saying, between the relationship of how we, you know what I'm saying, relate that relatability between the vision and how we can communicate it with and build that frequency and things of those natures in our immediate environment. So that's pretty much, you know what I'm saying, the balance of power for this full moon for you know what I'm saying, Sag. What we basically is, you feel me, expressing as far as how we are gaining wisdom, knowledge, and experience of how we receiving that, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying, and also influencing that power of that, you see what I'm saying, wisdom, knowledge, and experience that we can share amongst others and communicate amongst others. And also as well, you see what I'm saying, being influenced by that, things of that nature. So that's pretty much how that's rocking, you know what I'm saying? Dealing with the most, you know what I'm saying, I wouldn't say most, but you know, one of the most mutable times of the year and things of that nature, moldable and adaptable to how we can see our visions and gain wisdom, knowledge, and experience, or you know what I'm saying, push off a um, wisdom, knowledge, and experience, things of that nature. Communicate that amongst, you know, with our frequency that we creating in our immediate environment and things of that nature would be like to, for us to, you know what I'm saying, be building upon that ever changing, you know, mind and how we come into being of in the first place of, you know, just going through life and things of that nature. So it's pretty much, you know what I'm saying, helping us see different perspectives and pretty much helping us sow these seeds that while we reaping the benefits of the full moon, you see what I'm saying? Everything that we accumulate as far as wisdom, knowledge, experiences, being able to, you see what I'm saying, spark off that and gain a new perspective of receiving of, you know what I'm saying, influence of that through all the seeds that you planted and things of that nature, plus as well as seeing it flow throughout your immediate environment and who you interact with as far as how you can make it relatable and things of that nature. So pretty much how we are, you know what I'm saying, going through planting these seeds, you feel me? So let me see. So this is gonna be leading us to, you see what I'm saying, have the new generation be locked in, like as far as how we, you know what I'm saying, seeing a real distinctionary, you know what I'm saying, time right now between how we are all changing and things of that as a collective too, but feel me, like, but we are changing as a collective as well, but you know what I'm saying, individually, our minds and how we, you see what I'm saying, communicate with our individual, you see what I'm saying, passions, motives, and things of that nature, desires, is what as well, you know what I'm saying, with Saturn and being in Aries and things of that nature, it being falling there, we're gonna have to be going through that harsh reality of having to be building up our personal motivations, passions, desires, plus, you know what I'm saying, it's falling, so seeing us having to be working harder to do it, making it gonna have to be like, you know, us do it in a more, you know what I'm saying, more balanced and concise way to where we have to, you know, more or less balance it out than try to struggle of getting more of the power of self, like Aries, feel me, would want to do. It just lead itself and help lead others and things of that nature. But that would also include you having to, you see what I'm saying, blend, bond, and connect with the relatability energy of how you are, your, you know what I'm saying, outside peers are also giving off their influence and things of that nature, their passions, motivations, desires, and seeing the way that they build that harsh reality of, you know, coming into their dream of whatever their imagination, you see what I'm saying, Saturn and Neptune, Saturn and Neptune being in Aries and shit, can how far they could take them. See what I'm saying? So with Chiron too, so still being there and shit, that's gonna be like, you know, still going through that healing phase of niggas wanting to be, you know what I'm saying, personal with how the fuck they trying to be giving off that imagination and things of that nature. So it's gonna be like all about personality disorders, issues. It's all gonna be all about that shit, like all gonna be like, you know, mental clarity between the distinction of your imagination and who you really are, is sparking off that vision of going to, you know what I'm saying, making a new frequency of what you can create to, you know what I'm saying, then go to express that character and be able to, you know what I'm saying, blend in with how you can bond and be relatable with the outside sources, you know what I'm saying, your peers, you feel me, and having to be relatable with how the hell you come off is what the fuck, you know what I'm saying, you don't want to be seen as and what you want to be seen as and all these things is whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying, that you want to do at the end of the day is going to have to be expressed through being relatable. So it don't matter whatever the fuck. So it's like this is how it's going to be pretty much with us having our, you know, the fire aspect of the, you know, us having the personality, not having to make it disorderly, but making it to where it's, you feel me, more of a individual slash collective thing. So you have to put more time into as well doing individual things for yourself, things of that nature, and as well as, you see what I'm saying, helping others build up their, you know what I'm saying, what the fuck, because this is real life and we're being real, we're gonna have to do that at the end of the day. What the fuck we want to see come to life is not gonna all be happen to be done by one person. At the end of the day, you got to have people, you see what I'm saying, if you want to be remembered or whatever the fuck you think that you are doing, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna have to have inclusion and expansion as far as how you're experiencing things, gaining wisdom, knowledge, and whatever you're communicating with people on a broader aspect of your individual mind, of how you can, you see what I'm saying, uniquely. When Gemini goes into, you know what I'm saying, Uranus goes into Gemini, you know, you feel me, like it's gonna be all pretty much unique ideas and abilities to communicate as far as how the fuck we individually can you know what I'm saying, individually innovate and create a new moldable and adaptable mindset to how we can influence others, as well as be influenced by the atmosphere and the environment that we building up around us, the frequency they're creating around us and shit of that nature. So it's just like, you know, something that we're just characters, we hopping in and out of things like that is just in the instant, and it's just gonna be like real fast communication when it comes to how the fuck we want to even pay attention to something. So a lot of our attention will be scattered, but it's gonna have to be, you see what I'm saying, redirected in a way of us building, pushing off of this, you know, coming from the Aries, you see what I'm saying, or coming from the Taurus and, you know what I'm saying, Uranus leading to Gemini, us having to find that stability with that, you know, falling aspect and shit of that nature, us building up that courage to go ahead and just build a more stable and internal and you know what I'm saying, unique gift, value, or talent, whatever the fuck it is, when it comes to how you gain material and esteem as far as your maternal, you know what I'm saying, mirroring that and reflecting that, and you having to be seen as, you know what I'm saying, what the fuck you actually internally feel, rather than however the fuck you come off, or how, you know what I'm saying, however far you being relatable and things of that nature, which you're gonna have to with your gift, value, and talent in the first place anyway. So it's like you're gonna have to be just, you know what I'm saying, building upon that internal maternal material reflection of how you feel about that thing that you are, you know what I'm saying, gaining as far as the gift, value, or talent, and the, you know what I'm saying, maternal energy of that gift, value, and talent. So being able to communicate that, that's pretty much how we're gonna come off of that. Like, being able to communicate that is pretty much what I'm saying in general of why we're gonna be able to have all these thoughts and shit like that, just building off of where we coming from and things of that nature, to go towards, you know what I'm saying, expanding and you see what I'm saying, gaining new wisdom, knowledge, experiences, as far as new ways to innovate and create, you know what I'm saying, a communication between our own, you see what I'm saying, our own ability to build a mind up with our thoughts, and how we can communicate with ourselves, and as well as how we communicate with others and things of that nature, to how we can build up a community in general in the first place, or an environment in the first place, of what we can say, what is what, and words and dialect and language and things of that nature, different cultures, and introducing new abilities to how we can be able to be, you know what I'm saying, just alive and live in life in general, and be able to have the ability to be, you know what I'm saying, adaptable, moldable, and mutable to all these things, and you know what I'm saying, cultures and identities, or whatever fuck people come in as a crisis in, at the end of the day, have to be moldable and adapt to know what's how we want to be individually, you know what I'm saying, expressed, as far as that experience or knowledge, wisdom, and in that in our environment, how we making that, building that, being moldable and adaptable to it. It's how we making it unique and shit. How we making it how we building up that self-esteem from where we came from tourists, not having it be so, you know, falling as a desire or some shit, but make it be more upstanding, to be, you know what I'm saying, transmuted for the, you know what I'm saying, expansion of your ability in the sake itself, not just for the egotistical purpose of gaining and reaping the benefits of it, but for the sake of doing the ability itself, and having the ability to just do what you can do because you can do it, and not just taking it for granted, and having what you sowed, and things of that nature, what you not want to be reaping. You see what I'm saying? You don't want to do that thing, so you don't want to do that thing right there, my boy. Pretty much like you know what I'm saying. That's how I can see how main power of influence is giving off right now, except for, you know, of course, Cancer. So everybody's gonna be emotional right now. Everybody gonna be, you feel me, getting up in that bag of security and safety and comfort, as far as how they build up their mind and heart of their close bonds with whatever they're familiar with. You know what I'm saying? Even as, you know, as well as their family, as well as their, you know what I'm saying, home, and you know what I'm saying, emotional home, as far as how the fuck they create and initiate their emotions with whoever they can bond with or connect with, this family, friends, whoever, you know, the fuck, or go on a business venture and go on to be able to build on a bond of making whatever you do be more like family than business and things of that nature. It's gonna be like, you know what I'm saying, with Cancer being in Jupiter just getting there, and Mercury having us, making us to want to be you see what I'm saying, expressing that and things of that nature. We're gonna have to be locked in to what the fuck we are actually not so emotional about, but rather it's to what creates with the emotion we're trying to push out and create and initiate. As far as the Cancer cardinal energy, what we like to do is, you see what I'm saying, gain wisdom and knowledge and experience, and perspective out of that emotion. And that's where morality comes from, for your fucking ass. But you see what I'm saying? So like, that's what the fuck, you know what I'm saying, we building on when it comes to the power of influence right now, pretty much. And with Taurus being at Venus as well, like, that's gonna be making us locked into that home aspect of, you know, this is home now. Like, we're giving the clothes back to, you know what I'm saying, how we internally feel, and giving that cloth to how we internally feel, externally trying to put it on. Now we're trying to, you know what I'm saying, trying to put it on to how we feel at home, with how our gifts, values, and talents is being appreciated, and trying to overindulge in that shit. Just put that shit on. Don't try to get too much of an ego out of it. That's all you need to do, because that's what you already been building up this whole time. See what I'm saying? Anyways, with that falling aspect, with it being at home, it's really a good time, you know what I'm saying, for us to be, you know what I'm saying, trying to put that cloth on, as far as how the fuck we want to be seen for our gifts, values, and talents. Appreciate that. Don't overindulge. What the fuck we need to do though, as far as transforming in our vibration, how the fuck, you know what I'm saying, we going about that and shit, with, you know, how we sparking off our thoughts and ability to give a spark off in a world, or you know what I'm saying, a realm of reality that we can, you know, create things that we want to experience, and things of that nature in, and new things that we would like to, you know what I'm saying, jump in, and just be birthed out something new, is gonna be dealing with how we are, you know what I'm saying, building that up personally, as far as our relatability struggle between how good we are with being relatable with others, beliefs, to how they can lead their own ability to spark off in a vision, or a pathway to where they can go ahead, you know what I'm saying, have others follow in with them, or you know, build on to what's already been originally created, as far as a birthing system, and a new idea being birthed out in general, as far as how the fuck, you know what I'm saying, we just create anything, as far as art, anything, you know, music, photography, videography, you know what I'm saying, um, how we compete, um, how we can expand our abilities when we compete, how we can, you know what I'm saying, just go into little details and just, you know what I'm saying, psychology, biology, you know, science, everything, you know what I'm saying, all that is what a individual, you know what I'm saying, would be like to lead to be into, you feel what I'm saying, believe it or not, whatever you believe that you think you might be into, anybody else is into shit that you might not ever never experience in your life. So that's what I'm saying. So you might have to be like, you know what I'm saying, so much to experience in life. You have to lead your own experience in the way that you are creating that, and that's gonna be a balance of a, you know, not so having to be a struggle, like I was saying, like you don't want it to be a struggle, but it's gonna be probably pretty much, if you wanna see if you wanna go through that Saturn fight, and really box Saturn, and try to, you know, have the harsh reality, go toe to toe, square up with it, and whatever it is, go through the fire and go through the asteroids, and with your spaceship being more harder substance that ain't never been, you know what I'm saying, broken before, and not really yet, not ever been broken before, because nothing is, you know what I'm saying, forever but the spirit. But you know what I'm saying, but your spirit, having to try to be closest to spirit as possible, is what you want your mind to be, try to be built around. So whatever your spirit wants to, and you know what I'm saying, eat and things of that nature, it's fighting to go through all that shit. It's fighting to get to that milk and honey, or whatever the fuck that is, you know what I'm saying, having to accumulate for the expansion and the possibility for that organism, or that, you see what I'm saying, spirit, to even be here in that organism and in that creature, that body, that physical vessel that they taking hold of, and being able to create new you know what I'm saying, abilities out of that realm of reality that they jumped into from that Aries spark of off of an idea, things of that nature. So transforming that from spiritually, from having to, you know what I'm saying, build on that, as far as the imagination as well too, not just the physical aspect of Earth, and but the imagination of how they personally spark off the ability to initiate and create a vision, or a feeling, or a new thought of imagination, dream, fantasy, belief, delusion, or whatever the case may be, is going to be also having to be fought with the battle of healing that aspect of whatever they are coming from thinking that it's like, oh, too um hard or too complicated to be able to, you know what I'm saying, say sorry, go through that mistake of build up the courage to be able to be seen as you made a mistake, but it wasn't really seen as something that you just was falling from, but something that you had to go through to go to where you at now, and be able to see how, you know what I'm saying, you are made from, not, you see what I'm saying, flesh, but you make the flesh to be able to go through these experiences, things of that nature. Whatever your mind is on is gonna manifest in the material, because that's already what the fuck came down from, how the fuck we already materialized in the first place. That's already what your mind was on in general. So for you to even physically be here, you had to already have been leading yourself in that way. So that's that vision of Aries, from which you could see yourself having to be, you know what I'm saying, push out what the fuck you leading, and being able to be relatable with that harsh reality of that imagination, and heal that ability to um you see what I'm saying, transform that pain and suffering or whatever into a life path, or your life path that nobody else has, and things of that nature. So you could be able to see the reflection of that second house aspect, you mirroring that value of internally, how the fuck you pushed off that vision in the first place, and um that gift, value, and talent, you being able to see the ability spring off of how you can fixate and sustain a gift, value, or talent, and how you can move throughout that or you know what I'm saying, actually not move, but you know how you can build on and accumulate, and you know what I'm saying, yeah, move through the veins and everything of the vessel and things of that nature, to be able to flow wherever you would like, and create a, you know what I'm saying, self-sustainable ability to be um valued and things of that nature. So you don't have to be, you know what I'm saying, insecure. You got that self-esteem, of that inner security system built up to, it's not like um something that's really can be broken into or anything of that nature. It's something that's secure, that is like, you know what I'm saying, built off of that vision in the first place that you even came from. So that's how you even are here. You feel me? So your mind is what your body is doing right now. So whatever you expressing is basically gonna be coming through that, and how you over appreciating it, over valuing it, or whatever the case may be. Maybe how you be seen as like your ego or whatever right now, you feel comfortable in, or some shit like that. Like you having to be able to be fixated and sustained on that self-sustainability of your gift, value, and talent, now coming from, you know, how you was having to innovate and unique, make that unique and shit, where Uranus and Taurus now connecting with how you having home there. You feel me? So your vision is feeling like it's, you know what I'm saying, you feeling like you coming out to have to put that cloth on, as far as your fucking uh material maternal reflection of your inner security world and shit of that nature. You feel me? So like, you having to transform that vibration to, you know what I'm saying, spiritually, from how the fuck, you know what I'm saying, you seen that dream, faith, belief, imagination with the Aries sparking off, to be able to, you know what I'm saying, have that spiritually transformed to your vibration of what you actually currently are doing, and the ability itself of having to use the gift, value, or talent that you are self-sustaining, making self-sustainable, and making fixated, sustaining that ability to you see what I'm saying, be relatable amongst others as well, with they gift, value, and talent, and they self-sustainable fixated earth, like self-sustainable, you know, security system, like energy, for them to, you know what I'm saying, have to be like, you know, nothing can, you know what I'm saying, not anything can just truly and honestly, you know what I'm saying, get through there, or get make that go away, or something like that, you know what I'm saying, because you can't make something go away that you already are, you know what I'm saying, possibly having to spring off your ability from in the first place. See, that's what you are appreciating, and that's what you valuing. The gift and talent in the first place is what you even having the ability to spring off create new self-sustainable things to do in the first place. So from that vision, then you being able to create new self-sustainable, you know what I'm saying, a birth of new vision, you being able to fixate and sustain, and that creativity, and being able to flow with whatever gift, value, or talent you are relatable with, in that in that fire, you being able to fixate that, you know what I'm saying, through Taurus and shit of that nature, making it unique, individual, and putting a cloth on to be at home, to be valued as how you are, you know what I'm saying, in security, you know what I'm saying, from your inner material of eternal reflection of your value and things of that nature. So vibrational transformation that we, you know what I'm saying, feeling pretty much from that, like we gonna be in Gemini, you know what I'm saying, seeing how we taking action right now with our building our mind up and of, you know what I'm saying, right now you can see the death of spring and things of that nature. We trying to you know what I'm saying, build up a new um you know what I'm saying, a new expansion as far as how we coming into life and things of that nature. So this is why it's springing off summer, but we still in the birth stage of going through the fire to springing off life in Leo. It's season you know, middle of summer, aka. So like birth and cardinal waters is what we gonna be coming into. So like, and what I was going, and yeah, like basically I'm saying like, yeah, and shit, because we birthing off that cardinal water and shit of that nature. So that's how we seeing that right now, that death of that spring. We basically going through having to build up our mind to build a new you know, life, what we're giving life to from that birthing stage of what we accumulated through the vision and things of that nature, have to fixate, sustain it by giving it nutrients, nurturing it, and you know what I'm saying, with, you know what I'm saying, with the maternal value and emotion of that, giving that, or not emotion, but you know, fixating, sustaining, giving that ability to make practical and make you know what I'm saying, usable, and ability to make, you know what I'm saying, creative to where we can create off of that value and be relatable and be, you know what I'm saying, value that give value and talent to be able to be unique and individual in that, as well as, you know what I'm saying, put that cloth on to have us feel that we are, you know what I'm saying, reflecting that internal value externally, to therefore, you know what I'm saying, be able to see how we communicating that through our environment, expressing that through, you know what I'm saying, how we already came from the Aries vision and shit to what we sprung off this year. Now we've been able to create that frequency from how we built up that internal value, being able to create that frequency and see what the fuck we're doing physically, actually, well, not just, you know, physically, but per se from perspective wise. So actually from our ability to push out a thought, idea, or action in general, it would be from the mind in the first place. So that's why, you know what I'm saying, we helping, you know what I'm saying, right now, everybody build their frequency of what they communicate in their immediate environment, as well as what you are individually, you know what I'm saying, springing off in the spring of what the fuck the seasons is in your immediate, in your mind, in your, you know what I'm saying, what you built up your frequency off of, whatever the fuck you attach your thoughts to as a character real, jump into it out of, whatever the fuck like that, you know what I'm saying, fast speeding as all that motherfucking you going into one thought out of another one in the next second type energy. So that's pretty much how that, you know what I'm saying, gonna be being seen, how it's gonna be being, you know what I'm saying, perceived and things of that nature. But what we doing is communicating how we're building off of that value that we came from and springing up into a new life of how we the fucking creators of this shit. We gonna be moldable, mutable, and adaptable to it, to be able to just jump in one character and out of another in an instant, to be able to, you see what I'm saying, think fast on our toes, be able to make quick decisions fast, you know, possibilities for us to be able to create a frequency or create a, you know what I'm saying, be witty, connect, or communicate with, you know, people in our immediate environment, or whatever the case may be, your own mind, you see what I'm saying, in general, because that's what the fuck we even pushing off in the first place. So and how people, you know what I'm saying, communicate with their environment, is how you can see their immediate and connection with their mind in general. So springing off that spiritual transformation of that value that we have, it's gonna be having to be our vibration and what the fuck we transforming. So we seeing that vibration be pushed out right now. Everybody communicating on what the fuck they think in their mind, and you see what I'm saying, how the fuck they can you know what I'm saying, create some shit or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying. So just being moldable and adaptable to motherfucking niggas environment, I guess, you know. But they'll go no further than that for real though, because you what you perceiving, you know what I'm saying, what you perceiving is basically your pushing off through the fire of what you giving a spotlight to on the stage of where the fuck we going from springtime ending to summertime starting. You see what I'm saying? So this is the death spring season, springing off the birth life system. You see what I'm saying? So right now we going through the death of spring, feeling the effects of us having to push off that vibration. You see what I'm saying? That we coming from spiritually, from that value of how we internally was building up our self-esteem, our personal gift, value, and talent, and how we having to put that cloth on now to be able to be, you know what I'm saying, relatable with how we feel valued, and as well as see how others feel valued with their individual, you know, gifts, values, and talents, be relatable with that, and an aspect of love, you know what I'm saying, and compatibility energy type shit, to where you can be able to, you know what I'm saying, have sex and flow with that, you know, creative, imaginative, dreamy type energy, to where you can, you know what I'm saying, flow with the universe, or whatever the case may be, that you think that God, or whatever the case may you think may be spirit, you know what I'm saying, is within you, because that's what the fuck we all are, you know what I'm saying, saying that we coming from, that we all connect by, and not these physical things that we are, you know what I'm saying, you know, coming through the way, in the ways, shapes, and forms. It's gonna be mysteriously, we just connect with others. So happen to be, we feel like it's more of our kind than others, that we think this fucking immediate earthly kinship of ours, because it's gonna be that we see that the mind is more built off of the spirit and shit of that nature, than rather than, you know what I'm saying, the body taking a form, the body taking or the mind taking that form of that body and shit. It's looking like the body, but it's really being expressed in a whole different way, in shape and form. See what I'm saying? That you might never expect if you wouldn't have just seen that, you know, vessel, a picture or something of that vessel, and rather than how it actually plays the character out in motion and things of that nature in real life. So it's like, that's what we building right now, our mind connecting to how we fluidly being able to initiate and create that emotion off of, bounce that vibration off of, how we can spiritually transform that vision and the perception of how we creating actions, taking actions right now in different viewpoints, seeing different perspectives and perspectives, you know what I'm saying, whatever the fuck, if that's even a fucking word, of niggas' thoughts and minds, and how they building up they fucking environment, and what the fuck they would like to, you know, jump in and out of as a thought character, or expressive way that they can bring, you know, put on stage their ability to showcase some shit, or make community of some shit, or, you know what I'm saying, collaborate some shit together real quick, DJ Mike, real fresh energy type shit, you know, just spit some words out or some shit, or, you know what I'm saying, get some shit together to where it's like, you know, you actually being able to create something as far as a moldable, mutable, adaptable thought, and the way that you can perceive that as well as, I mean, you know, others can perceive that as well, you know what I'm saying, you can communicate that to others. So that's pretty much how, like, you know what I'm saying, we pushing off this spiritual transformation of that vision to vibrationally transform the frequency that we pushing off to the initiation and creation of our emotions, and how we feeling of the wisdom, knowledge, experiences that we gonna build on, you know what I'm saying, coming into this Jupiter and Cancer. We're dealing with how we can initiate and create emotions out, excuse me, off of the motherfucking, you know what I'm saying, jumping into this, you know what I'm saying, Mercury and Jupiter just jumping this happy-go-lucky ass into Cancer, you feel me? So it's gonna be, you know what I'm saying, us having to be not, like I said, so emotional as to what we think and communicating and analyzing what we creating in as far as our internal home, emotional home, and our whatever the case may be. So business home, family home, things of that nature. It's springing off a new vibe, a new emotion of how the fuck we all coming together is how we can share our push off of, you know what I'm saying, create an emotion and also receive one. You know what I'm saying? Reflect and refract the energy. You know what I'm saying? So like that's pretty much how we, like, you know what I'm saying, transforming our vibration of our what we communicating is gonna be coming through that. How we feel about the new wisdom, knowledge, and experiences that we gaining out of that emotion, that we connecting with others, and things of that nature. So we having to build up a new internal home, initiate and create a new, you know, familiar, comfortable, and, you know what I'm saying, family like type, um, nurturing mother, giving nurturing to the mind type energy, because this is what we, you know what I'm saying, even initiate and create emotions from in the first place is what we have our heart and our mind set on. So what our intentions is, whatever, you know what I'm saying, your mind is going off of how you're flowing through life, where your heart is leading you, things of that nature. You building off that emotion, creating that emotion every step of the way you go. So this is the initiation and creation of a new home as far as how you can build that wisdom, knowledge, and experience, initiate, create that new emotion, and gain something out of it. You feel me? To be able to share a home with others and share that aspect of being able to feel good with others, or whatever the fuck you feel like, happy and things of that nature. Or if it's just a optimistic perspective of whatever the fuck emotion you're building on, and you're initiating, creating things of that nature. So it's like, you know what I'm saying, you having to push out that, you know what I'm saying, it's like a masculine, feminine sign. So you pushing out that emotion, as well as being seen as initiating, creating environment when it comes to that, making a home or family around that emotion, or whatever the fuck it is. And so with Jupiter and Cancer, you have to not think so much about that, but like I said, just communicate it and get it off your chest. Get it the fuck right with your mind, because that's what you're even basing off of, your heart in the first place. You happen to be in touch with how you can, how fast and how good you can communicate your heart. So what the fuck your intentions and your initial emotional intentional home is in the first place, of influencing and expanding on an emotion that you created. So breaking that down, that's the vibration pretty much that we, you know what I'm saying, having to be able to be transform and make that, you know what I'm saying, a stable, secure investment as far as our gift value or talent that we can reap from that transformation of a dream, imagination, belief that we gain from that mutable, multiple, adaptable experience of our mind, how we can communicate with our immediate environment, as well as, you know what I'm saying, the way that we're perceiving that and pushing that perception off of the state, off of the stage that we're setting for ourselves as well as others, because it's all the you know what I'm saying, it's all a party, baby. Life is, you feel me? So that's pretty much what we looking at as far as having to physically, you know what I'm saying, and as well as, like I said, towards you know, spiritually, what our dream, faith, belief, imagination, from that value coming off of, to be transformed, you know, reaping the sowing that benefit of getting the give value and talent out of that communication from that value, giving talent, and that dream that you see with that. So like making that your vibration, being able to come through, communicate that the death of birth season to what we springing off and giving life to, hopping our happy-go-lucky ass into motherfucking Cancer season, leading us to summer season. So from there, pretty much, spiritually transforming how we give, how we, give fixation and sustain desires, secrets, passions, motivations, and things of that nature, with how we may feel embarrassed or, have a desire or have first emotional connection around those type of things that we get desires around, or that we can birth out expansion of a transformation of a rebirth in our mental, emotional, sex energy that we can create and bond with. How the fuck we, create a new rebirth and transformation system, as far as how the fuck we feel, or deeply passionately feel with how the fuck we can push energy into one place to push off and birth a new vision, or whatever fuck, how the fuck we feel about how the fuck we can passionately be motivated to deeply feel like we can, fixate and sustain emotion to be able to shoot off an idea of, birth off an idea from that emotion, some sort of passion, from a passion and a fiery perspective of creating and initiate that, with that Mars aspect. So like us having to be, with that fucking emotion, with that embarrassment, and having to be relatable with that, desire that we feel that we are embarrassed about, whatever the fuck, my passion, motivation, it might be, that you can, that you give your transformation, rebirth, sex-like energy to. It's gonna be, what our dream, faith, belief, and imagination gonna be building off of from that, to have to be able to fixate and sustain in a gift, value, or talent, have a creativity sustained from that transformation and things of that nature, to be able to express a mutable, multiple vision, perception of the experience and wisdom and knowledge that we can gain out of that, things of that nature. So how we pretty much create emotional connection, and create and receive, create an emotional connection around that wisdom, knowledge, and experience. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much how we, you feel me, is feeling the vibration of that spiritual transformation from those desires, passions, and motivations, having to be seen in the spotlight of us expanding our wisdom, knowledge, and experience around it, and us fixating, sustaining that creativity, energy of that give, value, and talent that we can get out of that dream, imagination, and fantasy, faith, belief, imagination, delusion, whatever the fuck comes out of that desire, passion, and motivation that you sprung off in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So that's like, vibration that we giving off. From there, Pluto transformation with how we aspect in our, dream, faith, belief, imagination is springing off from our associations and our associates in the public being in, what we taking power and control of in that transformation, having to be fixated, sustain a value and a gift and a talent through how the fuck we are, having that dream, faith, belief, imagination, and delusion, being able to be moldable, mutable, and adaptable to it, making that our vibration that we transforming through that dream in general. So expressing it as the, transformation of how the fuck we spiritually transforming in general is that 12th house, 11th house aspect. Second house, 12th house aspect, my bad, of Aquarius, Pisces, having to be, the fixation and sustaination of the gift, value, and talent of the community, of the association and the associates in the public arena that you are in, trying to transform, or, make rebirth it, or whatever the fuck you trying to do as far as take power control in general. So and fixate and sustain that. So having a vibration of transformation pretty much to, feel me, be able to create that dream, be moldable, mutable, and adaptable from that um community and that association, taking that gift and value and talent to be a value that you can, fixate and sustain in the long run of your creativity endeavors. With the ability to transform that vibration is what you basically gaining out of that power and control transformation type energy, with the associations having to be expressed through Pisces, being in the North Node basically right now. It's pretty much all that it's in. And but that is going on that destiny and path and shit of that nature. So having to see us go on that destiny and path of that spiritual transformation, being the vibration, being transformed through the vibration of our dream, faith, and beliefs and imagination in general. So, how we transforming that spiritual transformation from, 12th house Pisces to Aries, second house. Our give value talent, how the fuck we is pushing that off, fixating, sustaining that, is in a vision of creating initiating and creating a birthing of that vision of how the fuck we want to see the dream, faith, and belief and imagination, fixating, sustaining that gift and shit, is how we transforming that, our dream, faith, beliefs, and imagination in general. You know what I'm saying? In general, motherfucker, like, is through your visions and how the fuck you birthed off your creativity, energy, and how the fuck you could see visions and or birth a vision or a feeling or anything off this can create a new realm of reality or whatever fuck things of that nature that you think is a new or something that's original or unique or what you would call independent, and it's self, what I'm saying, it's oneself. So transforming from, the motherfucking dream, faith, and belief, imagination, that's what you're gonna have to be presented as the gift, value, and talent of the area of life that you have to give value and talent in. It's gonna have to be initiating, creating vision and birthing a new vision for that dream, faith, and belief and imagination. Excuse me. You know what I'm saying? For whatever the fuck that you are trying to spiritually transform from that in the first place. Anyways, it's gonna be having to be seen through that transforming that vibration through, you personally birthing that vision off and shit of that nature. So, that's pretty much, frequency of creation. How we, is seeing the springing off of our visions and shit of that nature to, from how Chiron and Saturn and Neptune all in Aries helping us build up that courage to, spring off that Aries spring vision of what the fuck we want to see come to life in general, of how the fuck we can lead a motherfucking organization, how we can lead any fucking thing, lead a wave, a new motherfucking idea, thought, anything. So just lead in general to be able to heal that, grow through that pain and suffering that you might have felt through that, as well as spring off imagination, belief, and faith off of that, and dream off of that personal interest and value of what you value personally and what you can spring off as an individual, as a unique individual that you can, be able to, having to fixate, sustain, as well as initiate and create on that harsh reality, with that aspect of Capricorn, Aquarius, Saturn, type energy, with it being fallen there, you have to use those abilities to be able to be, more relatable, I should say, and as well as what you're trying to fixate and sustain is what Saturn is, building on harsh reality. So that's fixation and sustain sustainations when it comes to life, real life things, real life goals, whatever the fuck it has to be with your personality and your very value and interest that you are personally value is what the fuck we building our frequency of creation off of our you know what I'm saying, springing our frequency of creation off of, to be able to have a association, associates in a public arena that we can associate with and be, you know, fixate, sustain to have to be able to spring off that frequency of creation. Third house, you know what I'm saying, from 11th house, Aries to Gemini, third house will be will we communicate and will we create and be moldable, mutable, and adaptable to with our minds, and how we could create you know, communication with each other in our immediate environment and shit of that nature. That's pretty much how the fuck we creating that frequency, building that frequency off of what we see and spring from the imagination and ability to create a dream, faith, and belief off of that individual value or that personal interest in what we are value or what you're valuing. It's gonna be able to you know what I'm saying, help you see a vision of how you could personally, you know, create your own frequency of in your environment having to be built off of your individual values itself. You see what I'm saying? So what we seeing right now is us playing through the actions of that, taking actions of that, planting seeds and sowing actions in that, as far as what we're going to be seeing in is when it reaping the benefits in Sagittarius season, when the full moon is in Gemini. You feel me? What I'm saying? Being relatable with that. So that's pretty much how we coming at that frequency of creation from our celestial creations amongst the stars, you know, amongst each other, that we are, you know what I'm saying, fixating, sustaining, and things of that nature. So from that frequency to, you know what I'm saying, from there we pretty much let's say, you know what I'm saying, towards having to be what we are having to have a celestial creation with, as far as our gift, values, and talents, being unique and individual, and you know, put on that cloth and having to go through that fight to be able to be unique individual, and with how we can be relatable with that gift, value, and talent. You know what I'm saying? Like how we can be relatable with that is being able to be, you know what I'm saying, expressed as our frequency of what we creating through initiating, creating our emotional home with that, and being able to you know what I'm saying, our emotional home with that frequency that we can create, our mind that we can communicate in our immediate environment. So that therefore that, you know what I'm saying, value in that gift and talent can be communicated through that way of initiating an emotion and shit like that. So of your home, your emotional home, and what you value and what you truly honestly value, how the fuck you emotionally feel secure with that home and shit of that nature, how the fuck you can see yourself being, you know what I'm saying, building up to be expressed as that emotion you're initiating it, you're creating it out of how the fuck your value is, when you wanting to be your value, be seen and be valued, and you know what I'm saying, at least be seen as how you value yourself and your reflection and your mirror of your maternal material, you know what I'm saying, security of that self-esteem and things of that nature, with how you're individual, unique with that, as well as putting on that cloth of being at home and feeling valued and feeling appreciated and loved for that, and things of that nature. So that's pretty much how, like, you know what I'm saying, that celestial creation is going to, you know, we're trying to build up our celestial creations, springing it off to build it to bring up that build up that celestial creation is in a frequency of our, what we communicate in our environment is in the way of initiating and creating emotion, you know what I'm saying, initiating, creating our emotions and shit, as far as how the fuck we see our value and things of that nature. So that's pretty much how it is. And then, you know, with Jupiter and Cancer being there and Mercury and Cancer being there, it's gonna be expressed as how we really, truly, and honestly trying to communicate our heart, and how the fuck we want to expand our emotional home in the first place and build grip of new knowledge, experiences, wisdom out of that. You feel me? Pretty much from there, you know what I'm saying, communication that we building a frequency around, pushing off that Gemini sun, and the sun being what we taking action as far as creating building our frequency up, our mind, and creating that in our immediate environment from what we sprung off in Aries season, things of that nature, to how we can, you know what I'm saying, celestially create, fixate, sustain, 11th house from Leo to, you know what I'm saying, in our associates in the public, be seen as and be express our unique individuality is how the fuck we want to be, express our communication and ability to have or communicate, you know what I'm saying, see how we can think and communicate with our own mind as far as communicate with our environment, immediate environment, be moldable and adaptable and mutable to as well as to others, how they connect with they how they celestially create amongst each other, amongst the stars and shit of that nature, is bringing out that frequency of creation, and how we can bring it together, you know, a bonfire of, you know, fix and sustain a vision or you know what I'm saying, a creative expression of how we want to be seen and expressed from that to our how we want to be seen and express our fun, entertainment, and, you know what I'm saying, whatever the fuck childlike energy is to you, with your communication and how your mind is built and the way that you can express yourself in general. So how the fuck you know what I'm saying, with Mars being still in Leo, things of that nature, like that's pretty much how we passionately coming off being seen as right now, trying to, you know what I'm saying, be funny with how the fuck we are seen, or, you know what I'm saying, with our fun, like, ability to connect with how we can communicate how our mind thinks with the motherfucking environment or whatever the fuck, or how we can see others minds communicate with our mind and the environment or whatever the fuck, you feel me? So just having fun with the entertainment and childlike aspect of how your mind interacts with the environment in general and things of that nature is how pretty much the frequency is coming off for the celestial, you know, for the stars coming together to give off that you know, not initiated, but being moldable, mutable, adaptable to their own mind, to our own minds, and the way we communicate with our environment as well as others, how they are, you see what I'm saying? So by, you know what I'm saying, taking actions, having different viewpoints in that, and being passionate and motivated to spring off those conversations of, you know, how we can fixate and sustain a spotlight to be able to be seen together, or be able to be seen individually as what the fuck we want to be, you know, have fun, entertainment and childlike energy be put into, you know what I'm saying, where we want to stir our motives as far as the communication with how we can come together with a spotlight and build a spotlight of our, you know, imaginations together, and come together, start rapping shit, you know what I'm saying, on the stage with how the fuck we communicate with the beat, and how our mind can see how we can start spitting, just creating flowing words coming out of our mouth that we want to see, you know what I'm saying, others interact with the environment as well. We want to see how we want to just express ourselves in general, you know what I'm saying, a thing of our mind having to be, you know what I'm saying, on that stage and being able to just shit that thought out in general and just experience life, bitch, and shit of that nature. So, like, yeah, pretty much, like, that's the frequency we giving off and shit of how we celestial creating that communication with our mind and amongst the stars. So, being passionate and motivated about that, us going on from that, building up a frequency of communication, or a frequency of creation, let's just say, with how we being, you know, initiating, creating our emotional home and family and home, family, and internal home, as far as what the fuck we attach to as emotions, or make familiar as emotions, or people, or anything in general that we can have an emotional connection with, to be able to feel home or feel safe or feel secure with how the fuck our mind interacts with life in general. So amongst the celestial, our celestial creations, amongst the stars and things of that nature, fixating, sustaining our associates of where the fuck we are, you know what I'm saying, in life and in the public, around how the fuck we initiate and create our emotions, and what we're trying to expand wisdom, knowledge, experiences, and communicate that our heart of what we're leading our heart from, building that celestial creation to build a frequency of creation through, how we South Node Virgo express how the fuck we're being moldable, mutable, and adaptable to that work health routine pattern of that, communication of those, initiating that home, and those celestial creations, homes and emotional homes that they're creating, together, and things of that nature, to be able to be, you know, um, feel comfortable through life or whatever the fuck they do, and say have a wisdom, knowledge, or experience in, and things of that nature, to be able to, feel good around their others' creations, and things of that nature that they are fixating, sustaining celestially. So, giving off that frequency of creation to be able to communicate, be moldable, mutable, and adaptable to our environment, and how we can express our mind, our environment, as well as, how we build on the environment, and build on the frequencies of creating shit that we, think about in our mind, in our environment, through a work health routine pattern, being moldable, mutable, and adaptable to that, ability to be able to, feel me, feel safe, secure, and comfortable, basically, with the South Node being there and shit like that. So, frequency of communication, pushing off of that, pretty much celestially, we creating that comfortability with that work health routine pattern, with the South Node and Virgo being there, with the 11th house being 11th house from Scorpio, as well as, having it build off the frequency that you pushing off from that celestial creation of your work health routine pattern, of whatever the fuck, how you build your, build up your creations amongst the celestial stars and things of that nature, which you fixate and sustaining amongst your associates in the public, as far as your work health routine patterns and shit of that nature, is gonna be like, building off what you frequently creating is in your mind, and in your environment, when it comes to how the fuck you being seen as in that area in life, with your desires, passions, and motivations, basically dealing with how the fuck you deeply and fixate, sustain emotions, and how you can, have sex, and build on like the energy of you pushing off that, connecting two minds together, one two to come together to make three type energy, and create a new, and transform, and have a rebirthing of that, your mind, your emotional, mental state, or whatever the case may be, and having that be your frequency of creation, and frequency of communication for your work health routine patterns, being seen as, an embarrassment, or a desire, or, what you first had emotionally connected to, having to be transformed and be rebirthed through that Scorpio, sex, death, life energy. So, with, going on from there, we pretty much, having a frequency of creation springing off from our celestial creation of what we have a wisdom build up, a knowledge or experience of being moldable, mutable, and adaptable to our visions and perceptions of how we can spiritually see a point other than other, or other than others, or we could actually gain others' experience, wisdom, and knowledge by them, and sharing it with us, and as well as, us having to see a universal celestial creation with that fixation and sustaination with that wisdom, knowledge, and experiences. It's gonna be pretty much we'll be building up our frequency of creation off of the third house aspect from Sagittarius to Aquarius. With our associates in the public arena, where we feel passionately, motivated to take power control with that. Transform that associates in the public and shit. Is gonna be like how the fuck we coming off, as far as what the fuck our frequency is building. Our mind is being moldable, mutable, and adaptable to creating our environment, with how the fuck we celestially creating our, visions and experiences, wisdom, and knowledges that we can spiritually, hit a point of, and then, share with others, and things of that nature. So, from a, they're pretty much frequency of creation coming off of Aquarius, how we celestially create amongst the stars our own, celestial creation, our own associates in the public being unique and an independent fixation and sustain with how the fuck your mind is built up and shit like that, and and amongst your associations and associates in your public arena, amongst the universal, associates in the public arena in general, pretty much, how the fuck we springing off that celestial creation to the frequency of we are individually passionately motivated, being motivated and springing off that harsh reality of building up that our mind of how we can communicate and our immediate environment, how the fuck we build up a frequency of that individual self-sustaination of how the fuck we passionately create a vision and birth off that vision from the frequency of what the fuck we came from with our celestial creation, 11th house from Aries, Aquarius, how we sustain, fixate, and make unique and individual to how we taking power, control, and transformation over our associates with Pluto being there. It's going to be the theme, us having to, build on a harsh reality, dream, faith, and belief, imagination, and delusion, and go through that suffering, pain that we have to heal and grow and, expand through to, transform ourselves and things of that nature with that Aries energy of us springing off a new vision or a new ability to birth a new energy or a new self or a new, thought, vision, or idea in general of a personal interest, value, or whatever the fuck your world is that you can see. You know what I'm saying? And things of that nature. So that's our frequency. We are coming off as of how we can build our mind, how we can, be moldable, mutable, adaptable to how we push off our communication, our frequency of how we build up celestially, amongst the stars, and how we could create an association or public arena, or how we could fucking be fixated, sustain an association in the public arena. And empower, have power, take power, transform that shit. Pretty much in frequency of creation coming through, Pisces, how the fuck we, 12th house being moldable, mutable, adaptable to our dreams, faith and belief, imagination, and things of that nature, to how the fuck we see our path or destiny, where the fuck we want to be moldable, mutable, adaptable to our ability to have a dream, faith, belief, imagination, to be able to, celestial, create that, fixate and sustain that amongst the stars and shit like that, that we, are walking with and shit of that nature is going to have to be coming from, like, how we frequently creating our third house from that Pisces, Taurus, to be able to value and fixate, sustain, make unique with that, Uranus being there, and put on that cloth of that security system of how the fuck we have a maternal reflection of that value from how we can have, that dream, faith, and belief, imagination, delusion be passed, as a frequency of creation through how the fuck we could be, how we communicate our, immediate environment, through how the fuck we see our individual gifts, values, and talents, and see our cloth of how the fuck we want to be valued through our gifts, values, and talents, as well as be relatable and be, with others' gifts, values, and talents, and things of that nature, how the fuck they want to be seen with it and shit. And so, putting that cloth on and shit, what they value internally, maternally, exterioring that mirror, extending that mirror and shit of that nature, to be able to look out and say, oh, yeah, you're beautiful, and shit like that, or some shit like that, So give love and value and appreciate whatever the fuck it is, you feel me? So from that celestial creation to be able to create a frequency of your mind having to be, able to be moldable, mutable, and adaptable to that value, give talent, being fixated and sustained in a creativity like aspect of what you, have find unique and value, like I said, and give love and value and appreciation, as well as like to receive that from. So having that be your frequency of communication, or your frequency of creation, where we coming from the destiny and the path of our dreams, faith, and belief, imagination, is pretty much You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much it, coming from all the way around the zodiac type shit. So, what we frequently communicate and creating, you know what I'm saying, and then how the fuck we self-sustain and fixate and sustain our gift, value, and talent. What the fuck our mind can, you know what I'm saying, be able to express from that dream, faith, and belief, imagination. That's where, you know, that house and shit right there, where we have our communication, where we can communicate and shit like that, having to be expressed is our values, gifts, and talent, and towards how the fuck we can be able to see that through that communication. You know what I'm saying? And so emotionally, what we expanding and experiencing, as far as how we can you know what I'm saying, initiate and create emotions, and initiate and create thought, or you know what I'm saying, initiate and create reality, and create, like, you know what I'm saying, our physical reality and things of that nature, coming from Aries. You know what I'm saying, how we be able to emotionally experience right now, seeing as how the fuck we can build through, you know, toxic shit, as far as how the fuck we personally had crashed out and made a mistake in what the fuck we are interested in, value, or, you know what I'm saying, or personally value, or personally, you know what I'm saying, make and initiate and create and have to take responsibility for in general. It's pretty much how the fuck we, you know, creating a imagination as well as building on that harsh reality, all, you know, at the same time, coming from the 10th house from Cancer, with us seeing as we could have a, you know, a business endeavor, a physical initiation, creation of a, you know, a status, a business, a career, or whatever the case from that, be birthed off in experiences and emotion through Cancer. How the fuck, you know, Jupiter and Mercury is coming together right now, with Cancer blending in the exaltation and the, you know, Cancer just being, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, being able to be, you know what I'm saying, just no exaltation falls away at home, you know what I'm saying. Emotionally, you having to express your thoughts and feelings, or, you know what I'm saying, intellectually and analytically, you're gonna have to express your thoughts and feelings about your emotions. You know what I'm saying? But it's not gonna have to. You don't have to make it emotional, like I was saying. It's just your you know, it's it's just your initiation and creation of your emotions. But it's not you having to be fixate, you know, initiating, creating, that you're being emotional or pushing off the emotion of wanting to just be seen as that, but rather than just creating that just to have everything flow in general, as far as internally build a birthing, you know, a new emotional home, and to help think, communicate, and analyze on what you internally really desire, you know, internally want to be birthing off, as far as those emotions and shit like that, those natures. So it's like, what you want to be seen as is birthing off of those emotions, is what you basically is communicating, thinking, and analyzing about. And so, as well as going through that wisdom, knowledge, and experience of initiating, creating that emotion in general in the fucking first place. So having that be the experience of the emotion through the faith, belief, imagination, delusion, you know, building a harsh reality, and the transformation of the pain, suffering, and shit that you have to heal and grow through Aries, your personal value and interest of what you can spark off and initiate and create, as far as a vision or a personal value and interest. Like I said, it's pretty much how you physically experiencing that emotion of of what you experiencing. So from there, experiencing the emotion of how you know what I'm saying, physically are having to be seen, uh, build, initiate and create business or a career status out of your gift values and talents and things of that nature is going to be having to be like what you fixate and sustaining your gift values and talents and want to be, you know what I'm saying, gonna have to be seen as from, and then from 10th house from Leo, 4th house to Taurus having to be seen as, you know what I'm saying, from what you uniquely want to be, you know what I'm saying, build off in that give value and talent and how the fuck you put on that cloth to that value and shit. Be loved, valued, and appreciated for that. Seen it status, business, career, building, initiating, creating, to be able to have an internal emotional home, be, you know what I'm saying, initiating, create that. Having it to be, you know what I'm saying, more like you bringing a fixated sustaination within how you feel in your internal fire of spotlight, passion, and motivation, and with, you know, Mars being there in Leo, you know what I'm saying, your childlike fun, creativity, you know what I'm saying, creation ability, likability in general, to just be seen and create your own character and expression of character, our own fucking, you know what I'm saying, fixate, stagnation of a vision or creativity or you know what I'm saying, passion, motivation that you have around that spotlight, you know what I'm saying, or that ego or whatever the case that you want to be seen as. You know, it's not just for the sake of just having the ego, but to be shared amongst others and have others gather around it and be the, you know what I'm saying, entertainment, be the muse or the fun or the fixed stagnation and stability of the self-sustainable ability to have fun, entertain, and express a childlike aspect of creativity with your initiation of your feelings, basically, which is your emotions, which is your, you know, home, family, security, privacy. So it's like passionate and motivated to be doing that right now, and you're gonna be passionately motivated to be seen as wanting to be have fun in that initiation and creation of that emotion and shit. It's happening with Cancer, wanting to be expressive. It's happy-go-lucky ass hopping his ass into Mercury and Jupiter with that you know, opposition kind of conjunction, having it blend in with, helping it blend in with Cancer being exalted, and rather from those two planets being so opposing, you know what I'm saying, from a Cancer being exalted and Jupiter to Cancer just being, you know what I'm saying, not home, falling, exalted or away in Mercury. And so with Cancer, you know what I'm saying, that Cancer-like aspect of 4th house from Taurus, which you uniquely want to be seen, you know, uniquely, individually innovating as far as how the fuck you changing and going about your value, gifts, and talents, want to be seen as it, putting on that cloth and all that, pushing off that ability to be able to be, you know what I'm saying, have a initiate and create your emotions through the spotlight of that Leo aspect of fun, good value, and entertainment, fun, entertainment, and childlike aspect of that emotion in general of how you can, or that internal home and security and privacy in general of how you feel comfortable, so familiar and secure within that initiation of creation of emotion that you created for that value, gift, and talent and shit of that nature, with how you want to be seen, or build on the harsh reality of how you have a business, a career, or a status and shit of that nature with your gift, value, and talent, fixating, sustaining that. You know what I'm saying? Initiating, creating, pushing off that status, you know what I'm saying, of that gift, value, and talent, of that fixated, self sustaination of that gift, value, and talent. And coming from there, pretty much we having an experience of, emotion of experience through how the fuck we Gemini, how we connect with the what we constantly aware of right now, being perceiving, pushing off our expansion of ability to perceive and action and thought and take actions and have our mind be built up and be focused on the, conscious and taking and eating of awareness that we taking in right now of how the fuck we want to be moldable, mutable, and adaptable to our own mind, and how we can create our frequency in our environment, and be moldable, mutable, and adaptable to how the fuck we can, see others and things of that nature as well. Create that shit. Create they how the fuck they environment, atmosphere is being communicated through their mind and shit like that. So with that, spotlight having that aspect of building up a status, a business career, wanting to be, initiate and create something there, 10th house from Virgo, fourth house to Gemini, wanting it to be initiating, creating that from that taking actions in those, and that having ability to think, communicate, and express moldable, mutable, and adaptable mind in your environment and shit like that. Building on that moldable, mutable, adaptable ability to be able to have a routine health pattern and feel comfortable, safe, and secure within that emotion or that initiation, creation of an ability to, spring off an emotion from that thought that you, or your mind and emotion of your mind, how you can, or whatever thoughts that you attaching to in that mutable, moldable, like ability that you have your mind on at the moment, or whatever the fuck, that you taking actions on at the moment and shit, making it feel safe and secure, and comfortable with your work health routine patterns and how you build on that emotion and how you initiate and create that emotion. If you want to be seen in that status, in that business, in that career, for you, for your mind to be communicated through how the fuck your environment, you see your environment, and you building on your aspect of your atmosphere, through individually pushing off your own mind amongst the collective. You see what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what Gemini is. You feel me? Like, so pretty much like having a physical experience of you have, your frequency of creation. You physically experiencing, going through the actions and and going through the physical expansion and experience of you communicating your mind with the environment, and you seeing the death of spring going into the birth of the summer. You birthing off a new from that spring, which you sprung off from the vision of Aries and Aries season, built onto the value of what you see from that vision in Aries, Taurus season, to the communication and ability to think off of that, and expand off that have multiple, like, an atmosphere of mind of the two coming together, and building off that, springing off that internal personal individual area of your mind amongst the collective thing like that you're gonna birth into summertime, with that initiating, creating that emotion and that internal home that you want to be having that mind flow through and shit of that nature to feel comfortable, safe, and secure. You know what I'm saying? So having that, be what the fuck you want your patterns and your work health routine patterns be worked up around, be locked on around. It's gonna be expressing that for your mind. It's gonna be expressing that for how you are moldable, mutable, and adaptable to how you can build on, have a practicality to build on your earth-like aspect of actually reaping sowing the seeds of reaping what the fuck you sow out of your work health routine patterns. To see that be communicated as an emotion expression through how you internally express your mind through your internal home and things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? So, emotional experience from there, pretty much how we, you know what I'm saying, be moldable, mutable, adaptable to how we feel comfortable, safe, and secure. Like I was saying, from South Node Virgo, us being seen as a status, you know what I'm saying, 10th house from Sagittarius, their career, business having to be built up a moldable, mutable, adaptable ability to motherfucking me, goddamn me be, you know what I'm saying, have a work health routine pattern in that, build on that status and building on that status, physical experience and ability to, you know what I'm saying, initiate and create a business or entrepreneur endeavor or whatever the case may be, like nature's, to have an emotional experience with that physical experience through the initiation creation of that, coming through the aspect of you and your perception and your mutable, moldable, like, you know, adaptable, like visions to what your mutable fire is, being, you know, being perceived and perceiving what the fuck the wisdom, knowledge, and experiences you can gain out of that internal you know, creation of that home emotionally that you had gained through, you feel me, you know what I'm saying, that initiation of the balance of, you know what I'm saying, the status being the balance of it, you know what I'm saying? So like the balance and the completion of it. So Virgo, you know what I'm saying? As well as Sag being, you know, that or Virgo being that for Sag. You see what I'm saying? Because it's 10th house from Sag. So initiating, creating that emotion off of that physical, like, experience you're going through with that work health routine pattern, having to be seen, you know, be seen as building on that, communicating that motherfucking, you know what I'm saying, building on that image and status and harsh reality of that business, like 10th house from Sagittarius, that you have to, you know, build on to be able to initiate and create your work health routine pattern in the first place. You building off that work health routine pattern to be able to be more moldable, mutable, adaptable, more to be able to balance out to your motherfucking ability to see how you can, you know, see a initiate and create an emotion, and see how that could be, you know what I'm saying, perceived as wisdom, knowledge, and experience, something that you could perceive as yours from your perspective, or something you can gain a perspective from others. You see what I'm saying? So going on from there, pretty much, you know what I'm saying, having an emotional experience of, you know, Scorpio being over there in Lilith and shit, where we have embarrassment, a desire, you know what I'm saying, our first emotional connection when it comes to this, you know, Scorpio like energy with that mutable, my bad, it's immutable, fixation, sustaination with that deep emotional home, or not deep emotional home, but deep fixated and sustaination with the emotion that you're, you know, building off that desire and emotion and passion and motivation and a goal that you want to reach, to be able to, you know what I'm saying, spring off a rebirth or birth something new, you know what I'm saying, or, you know what I'm saying, transform that energy from what you creating two off of, bringing 1 and 2 together to create, you know, the 3, and to create the motherfucking birth off of, you know what I'm saying, transformation of those two energies coming together. What they have at 6 from is, you know what I'm saying, what we're gonna have to be having to be physically experiencing through 10th house from Aquarius. You know what I'm saying, our status in business, career, when we have to initiate and create, have you know, a harsh reality around our fixating, sustaining our emotions and shit of that nature. 4th house from Scorpio, having us to be fixated and sustaining on our associates in the public, you know what I'm saying, as far as when it comes to how we initiate and create our internal home, coming from that, you know, Scorpio, like how we passionately motivated and deeply desire that deep emotion to rebirth into, you know, re-expand and to transform into a new energy and things of that nature, is gonna be like us, you know, having an experience, a physical experience of the emotion going through initiating, creating a more internal, you know, a new home when it comes to the associates in the public that is trying to transform and take power and control in to be in a more healthy way, you know what I'm saying, rather than destructive and things of that nature. So, with the fixated sustentation, you know, a modality being affected in this case, you see what I'm saying, and all fixated signs and shit with this planet, you know what I'm saying, it 10th house from Aquarius is gonna have to physically, you know, experience that wisdom, or not the wisdom, but my bad, the you know what I'm saying, or as you know, kind of wisdom like aspect of it, since Cancer is in, you know what I'm saying, Jupiter right now, expansion that, and that wisdom experiences knowledges with that 4th house 10th house aspect right now of us initializing and creating that home and family and privacy here, what we want to, you know, connect with as far as our own internal home, family, and privacy, as well as others on it will go about wherever we go to a business, community, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, private event or whatever the hell the fuck we, you know what I'm saying, all enjoying as far as what we initiating and springing off and creating as far as, you know, status, a business, a career, things of that nature. So, you feel me? And our passions, motivation, desires, that's gonna be how we feeling embarrassed, you know, going about that first emotion and shit, or whatever that we felt desire to be, you know, fixate, sustain that emotion and shit off of. So, because we're gonna have to be building our you know, status and business and career off of this. You see what I'm saying? Building on the harsh reality of it. So we're gonna have to be experience that physical reality through emotionally transforming, having built and initiating, creating a new home. You know what I'm saying? As far as well as, you know what I'm saying, reciprocating that image and status that we springing off from that desire and shit, from those associations and associates in the public, and how we really trying to truly and honestly, healthily transform and take power and control over that, fixate and sustain that, and initiate and create, you know what I'm saying, a new family home off of that type shit. So, being in our emotion and what we experiencing right now currently, things of that nature. So, emotion of experience from there, pretty much like how a Sagittarius is, you know what I'm saying, being fulfilled in the moon right now, and how we, you know what I'm saying, fulfilling our cup, and, you know what I'm saying, are you fulfilled with how the fuck you see reality, or, you know what I'm saying, experience wisdom and knowledge as far as your perception of how you can be mutable, moldable, and adaptable, see others' perspective of how they experience reality, you know what I'm saying, and be moldable, mutable, and adaptable to experiences, wisdoms, and knowledges, and different cultures and perspectives around them as well, to be broaden their horizons and broaden their perspectives of the mind and existence in the first place, and general, to be able to see an aspect of being pushing off a flame and an internal fire of having the ability to go through experiences as a spirit, and in general, that's our ability to even move and flow through these you know, life events or whatever the fuck be going on and shit of that nature, because we can see ourselves, you know what I'm saying, being optimistic about it or pessimistic, whatever the fuck it is, we're still moving through it. Whatever the fuck it is, it's still going through it with that energy. You're holding on to that energy, you're seeing through that energy, because you're being able to have that point of reference of where you spiritually are expanding your space from the spirit of you having a experience and a wisdom, knowledge that you can accumulate out of it, to be able to share with others, amongst others, to be able to, you know what I'm saying, experience some emotion of what the fuck, you know what I'm saying, you want to physically, you know, touch ground bases with and shit like that. It's going to be sprung off of from how you fulfilled in the moon and create emotional connection with that, that perception and that spiritual perception that you can, you know what I'm saying, point to, as well as you can get point from others, is gonna be expanded through fourth house Pisces. You having initiation, creation of your new home and the birth of a new home, as far as your dreams, faith, belief, imagination, delusions, and how you can, you know what I'm saying, expand in what the fuck you having a destiny, a north node and path on, when it, as far as it comes to your dreams, faith, belief, and imagination and delusions and shit like that, being able to be moldable, mutable, and adaptable through those shits, as well as other dreams, faith, belief, and imagination, delusions on the destiny and path of that, springing off healthily, you know what I'm saying, non-delusional, but you know, as far as the fun goes, you know, healthily delusional fantasies, dream, faith, delete, belief, and imaginations. With that north node, you know, it's like I said, giving you experience of your emotion is how you basically expanding and pushing off that in imagination, is your building on your creativity energy, as far building on your creating your emotions and creating your home, internal home, as far as how you feel with your spiritual perception. And so, and how you physically are seeing building a business status or career out of that. You feel me? Seeing building on a harsh reality of having an entrepreneur endeavor with that, or doing whatever the fuck with that in general, because that's what you're physically experiencing. And definitely you're physically experiencing, so I'm saying, 10th house from Pisces, Sagittarius, initiating and creating a status and a image, or you know what I'm saying, a harsh reality when it comes to the visions, perceptions, spiritual gravitation, when it comes to your wisdom, knowledges, and experiences. You know what I'm saying? Having that be your physical experience, from your emotion of experience, your dreams, delusions, and faith, spring off from your emotions and your internal home of how you initiate and create emotions in the fucking first place. Going on that spiritual path and destiny. You feel me? Creating that emotional connection with the full moon being there. Expression of emotion, you know what I'm saying, experience of emotion from there, pretty much. Aquarius and Pluto, you know, we pretty much experiencing the fixated and sustentation of that modality, through having to transform the power and take power and control of the fixated signs in general. When it comes to Aquarius being there, it's our associates in the public. 10th house from Taurus is having to be seen as the status in of the associates of the public. What you building your status up and your associations around is, and your business and career around, is pretty much how you transforming that power and taking the power control of that, you know what I'm saying, transformation in that, being seen as a status and building out on a career or some shit, or an entrepreneur endeavor, when it comes to how the fuck you physically experiencing, and then, you know, that's springing off the emotion of your internal home, you know what I'm saying, going through that transformation as well, with the fixated sustentation of Earth being fourth house from Aquarius, what it initiates and creates as far as it is internal home, and as far as it is in how it feels in it comfortable and it's secure in its internal home, and it creates as an emotion. You know, it creates this emotion based off of the associates in public that it sees this initiating, creating a status, career, in an entrepreneur like endeavor in, or whatever the case may be. It's gonna be like building on that experience of emotion off of that physical experience of that status, business, career like type, you know what I'm saying, initiation of what you know, celestially amongst the stars, want to be physically experiencing to be able to have an emotion, healthy emotion off of that, to have a value, gift, and talent, you know what I'm saying, to express that emotion of, and springing off an internal healthy home of your get of your, you see what I'm saying, associations in the public, physically experiencing your gift, value, and talent. With having to be making that unique through your emotion and shit, and making it individual, and you know what I'm saying, putting on that cloth through your initiation of that new home and your new family home privacy and shit of that nature. So so special character from there, pretty much, you know what I'm saying, that's pretty much it. Oh no, I almost got emotional experience from there. Last one, pretty much from Pisces, you know what I'm saying, 10th house from Gemini. How we experiencing that physical experience is, the dream, faith, and belief and imagination through how the fuck we, you know what I'm saying, going through the spiritual path and shit like that, is being expressed as our trying to be having to make a status, career, business, entrepreneur endeavor out of some way, shape, or form through Gemini's 10th house being, you know what I'm saying, one that have physically experienced there through the emotion of being created and birthed off from there. It's springing off the initiation of a new home of your mind, and the way that you can communicate your mind, your internal world, how you birth off of you know what I'm saying, birth emotion and an eternal comfortability in a family and a new familiar home with how the fuck you are, your dreams, faith, belief, and imaginations is being mutable, moldable, and adaptable to your, you know what I'm saying, you being able to creating a status and initiate a status off of that dream, faith, and belief, and imagination. It's going to be through Gemini, how we consciously going through, having a spiritual path from the north node be our physical experience, springing off an emotional experience of our sun and Gemini, having to see how we have to take action and flow through these new thoughts and new emotions, and springing off of birthing a new home off of this, you see what I'm saying, internal imagination, faith, belief, and imagination, being mutable, modal, and adaptable with that, to be able to expand, you know what I'm saying, and create a new internal home with our mind, and how we can build on, you know what I'm saying, our actions and our immediate environment through our frequency, or we'll create, you know what I'm saying, having, us build up a new mind and being able to express our initiating and creating motion and home, familiar emotional experience when it comes to our dream, faith, belief, and imagination and delusion and things of that nature, having to be, our status, what we want to be seen as. So that's pretty much the emotional experience. From there, expressing a character is, you know what I'm saying, how we, are expressing our vision, our, knowledges, experiences, wisdoms, and shit like that, off of our gift, value, and talent, pretty much to be moldable, mutable, and adaptable from our fixation, sustaination ability to have a fixed earth, give value and talent in the beautiful, moldable, and adaptable ability to have a vision and a spiritual perception of a point that you can teach and learn from others, as well as, having that be your, metaphysical travel of your spirit going through that, to be able to express a character of, express a character of fun, entertainment, and expression through how you self-express yourself through, passion, motivation, and desires passion, motivation, desires of how you want to express yourself through your character is going to be coming through how the fuck you are being seen as coming from the spiritual, you know what I'm saying, metaphysical travel of your gifts, values, and talents being able to be, you know, relatable, mutable, modal, and adaptable to others' visions and spiritual visions and shit, or you know what I'm saying, others' spirit and they way that they metaphysically travel and shit like that, to how you expressing your character through from being unique and individual and putting on that cloth in that, to expressing your character in being able to expand on your your passion, motivations, and desires when it comes to your personal and your self-expression, expression toward like energy of your entertainment, fun, and childlike expression of, you know, what you really like to have, how you like to express yourself, self-express yourself, have fun, entertainment, and childlike abilities through fixating, sustaining your spiritual and metaphysical travels. So that's pretty much, you know what I'm saying, how oh my bad, I fucked that all up. See, I was thinking about, you know what I'm saying, Leo is Virgo self-sustaining the work health routine patterns to be able to be moldable, mutable, and adaptable through that expression of that character. You see what I'm saying? I was got you, yeah. Expression of that character of your metaphysical travel, of your gifts, values, and talents. So that's the trying aspect of Taurus, Uranus, and Venus to Virgo and South Node. You having to feel comfortable, safe, and secure within that. And see, I messed up right there, but you having to feel comfortable, safe, and secure within that fixation, destination, and sustentation of that character, being able to be expressed through that, you know, value of you wanting to have that work health routine pattern, and you know what I'm saying, feel comfortable, safe, and secure within that. And so that's pretty much how you know what I'm saying, metaphysically having fun with that metaphysical travel, expressing a character through Virgo, that work health routine pattern, things of that nature. So you see what I'm saying, going from there, expressing a character through Cancer, being expanded in Mercury and Jupiter right now, with how it's expressing its character metaphysically traveling through how it mutable, moldable, adaptable to how the fuck is you know, spirit and travels and shit like that through those internal waters of, you know, expansion of internal waters of it, creation and of those emotions, and internal home and security and privacy of that wisdom, knowledge, experiences, and communication, that is being able to have a far, you know what I'm saying, go through that metaphysical travel, is how it's being able to express its character through, you know what I'm saying, or how, you know what I'm saying, you're being able to express your character through Scorpio with the transformation of the death and the transformation of the embarrassment of desires and first emotional connections you have with your desires, passions, motivations, deep fixated and sustained emotional, you know what I'm saying, emotional fixated, sustained emotions of those desires, secrets, passions, motivations, sex-like energy, to join two energies together and create a new birth, a new energy and things of that nature. So it's how it's, you know, your expression of character is coming off through that metaphysical travel of internally birthing out a new internal home and a space of security, privacy, familiarity when it comes to your experiences, wisdom, knowledge, and how you're thinking, communicating, and analyzing all of those things is what you're metaphysically traveling through, things of that nature. So expressing a character through that pretty much is going to be like how you fixate and sustain that desire, passion, and motivation with that embarrassment, first emotional connection and desire that you had through that, Scorpio and Lilith with you, ninth house from Pisces having to be multiple, mutual, and adaptable to how you express your, metaphysical travel through knowledges, wisdom, experiences that you can, flow through and metaphysically travel through, as well as gain new and teach others new, as well as, flow with the rhythm of the universe. Things of that nature of how the fuck life is in general, and how the fuck you can, be multiple, mutual, adaptable to that fixating, sustaining emotion and passion and desire, whatever the fuck it is, wherever the case it is, in that embarrassment, desire, as far as your first emotional connection with it, and deep emotional connections with that, metaphysical travel that you had through that, being able to express your character, being able to fixate and sustain that character, and however far you are going with that metaphysical travel, express it through your dream, faith, and belief, imagination, delusion, being able to be multiple, mutual, and adaptable to that, to fixate and sustain that fun, entertainment, and childlike expression of how you experience that wisdom, knowledge, and experience of your spirit going through that experience in the first place, and fixating and sustaining that emotion and deep emotion and desire, passion, and you see what I'm saying, sex, like death, rebirth energy, to bring two together to create another, and you see what I'm saying, spring off transformations from those internal travels, metaphysical, spiritual travels that, you want to express your character through, to be seen as the dream, faith, and belief, imagination, expressing the metaphysical travel of the desire, deep emotional connection, and motivation of the sex, death, birth, like transformation energy that you're trying to take a hold of, that you're trying to take power and control of, or initiate and birth anew off of. Expressing the character from there, pretty much ninth house from Aries, Sagittarius, having us be expressing a character of us being multiple, mutual, and adaptable to our own self visions and knowledges and wisdom experiences, and as well as others, being able to be multiple, mutual, and adaptable to, go through those wisdom, knowledges, and experiences, and be multiple, mutual, and adaptable to others as well. See what I'm saying? Pretty much is having us have, like, a expression of more of a, you see what I'm saying, expression of more of a creating an emotion off of that, so we can be able to build off of, with the full moon that being there, creating emotion off of that, so we can be able to build off that spiritual travel and mutable, multiple, like adaptable, like aspect, to be able to express our character from that spiritual travel and vision, to initiate and create a new vision and a thought, a feeling, is when it comes to Aries and the initiation, birth, life, our birth aspect of a vision and feeling in general, a personal interest or value that one springs off from that fun, entertainment, self-expressionatory, like energy from that spiritual travel, or that metaphysical travel, through the creating the emotion itself, initiating, creating, reacting, responding as well to that metaphysical travel that you being able to be mutable, multiple, and adaptable to within yourself. See what I'm saying? Expressing a character from there pretty much would be
Oh yeah, and with Eric's being there, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be like, you know what I'm saying, you having to build on the harsh reality of you passionately, motivatedly, personally doing that yourself, plus you being relatable with others doing that themselves, and building on imagination, dream, faith, belief, with it transforming the ability that you have to grow and expand pain and suffering and things of that nature of your personal value and interest and ability to birth anew and expand yourself. You know what I'm saying? Expand your personal values of interest. You see what I'm saying? Is expression of character through that aspect, that trine. So expression of character from there pretty much would be Aquarius, gonna be Pluto, power control, associations, associates of the metaphysical travels that you taking and shit is what the fuck you know what I'm saying, being moldable, mutable, and adaptable to your visions as well as others in the celestial in the realm of creations that y'all fixate and sustain within your associations, associates in the public, wherever the fuck it is being able to be expressing this character of his metaphysical travel, that passion, motivation, or power, control, transformation of that associate in the public, being able to have an expression of character through Gemini in the sun, expressing itself as the fun, fiery, fixated, sustained aspect of its communication, being moldable, mutable, adaptable to have fun and have to entertain and express itself within its fun and its associates in the public, of how it metaphysically travels with its spirit and shit, expresses itself as taking actions and seeing different viewpoints and communicating and thinking and communicating about how its own mind communicates, how your own mind, aka, communicates and thinks and with a frequency within its environment, and be able to be moldable, mutable, and adaptable between others in itself as well, with that fun, entertainment, and self-expression toward childlike aspect. So experiencing expression of your character through that, you know what I'm saying? Trying aspect right there. Frequency, expression of character from there, my bad, is, you know what I'm saying, what we are being moldable, mutable, and adaptable to our visions from in Pisces, dreams, faith, belief, imagination, delusions, being ninth house from Cancer, fifth house to Pisces, where we are being able to spiritually, metaphysically travel through and travel to, is our expression of character through, you know what I'm saying, from our dreams, faith, belief, imagination, delusions, having gained wisdom, knowledge, and experiences, being moldable, mutable, and adaptable off of those things, the wisdom, knowledge, experience, and the dream, faith, and belief, imagination, delusion, having to, be seen and flow through, express the character of the spirit, the spirits of metaphysical travel and things of that nature, fixating, sustaining a vision and a passion, our vision of a creative endeavor, or what I'm saying, a self-expression, when it comes to how the fuck you have fun, entertain, and have a childlike aspect, or what I'm saying, fixate and sustain a childlike aspect within that initiation of your home, family, and privacy, and creation of your internal emotional home, initiating and creating an internal home, emotional, you feel me, healthy, new internal emotional home, family, privacy, and security type environment and shit like that, of those, you know what I'm saying, metaphysical travels being able to be expressed through that character. You know what I'm saying? That character of you initiating, creating a emotional or not emotional, but initiating creating your emotions through your home, family, and privacy and security. Feeling safe and familiar and secure with that nurturing ability to, nurture and show attention and care and initiate and create, you know, emotions towards the fire and the fixated and sustentation of the metaphysical travel and the expression of character through the dream, faith, belief, and imagination delusion to the home, family, privacy, and security and safety and, home, family, security, and privacy and shit. So, pretty much for the expression of character, expansion and what we are embodying is pretty much 8th house from Aries, how we are, transforming our mental and emotional, having a mental emotional transformation and rebirthing of our internal personal, interests, values, and initiating, creating those visions and shit of that nature, what we take responsibility for as far as what we reaping of the sowing of how we initiate and create and lead and push off an influence or power of influence in the first place is being mentally, emotionally, transformed from 8th house from Virgo, through taking harsh reality, building on harsh reality, setting up the initiation creation for your dream, faith, belief, imagination, delusion to be expressed through the way that you're healthily transforming that desire, passion, motivation, and that deep desire, or that passion, motivation, and embarrassment or whatever, or not embarrassment, whatever the case may be, but a mistake or a mishap that you have to reap, you have to take responsibility for, whatever the case. You transforming that mental and emotionally rebirthing to how you have a work health routine pattern, and however well you are to rebirth that is going to be, as well as reflecting on how work health routine pattern in 6th house from Aries, Virgo, comfort, safe, and security with how you have a work health routine pattern within your own, work health routine pattern of that comfort, safety, security, and stability in that transformation of that mental and emotional rebirthing and transformation of, your personal interests, values, and affairs and things of that nature. So your experience of, what you embodying and pretty much, is your physical work health or your, your embodiment, and what you're experiencing, your embodying is having to have a work health routine pattern and be moldable, mutable, and adaptable to practicalizing and building upon stabilizing a motherfucking moldable, mutable, and adaptable way to feel safe, secure, and comfortable within that transformation of that mental, emotional clarity between the passion, motivation, desire to the, birthing out of it in the initiation and creation and of it, the fire and the vision and the motion picture of the motherfucking waters and shit of that nature. So through your imagination, dreams, faith, belief, and delusions, you individually, personally gonna be having to do that. You're personally gonna be having to explain and express how you are initiating, creating, your individual reality with your personal affairs, interests, and values. as far as and being relatable to be having to be relatable with others, having to be having to be initiating, creating new ways to be relatable with others with their own ways of building on their personal interests, values, and the harsh way of seeing the reality of doing that for them, as well as you and your dream, faith, belief, imagination, delusions, and your way of going about having to build up, you know what I'm saying, the courage to, you know, heal that and mistake and shit of that nature, to go through the fire of baptism of healing the mistake and building on a new, of initiating, creating a self of to be flowed through that environment of your power and your influence in general. So you transforming your mentality and your passion, motivation of that power and motivation, and your power and control in that, to be able to be birthed off and initiated anew, to create a new vision and a fire baptism of a way that you can we know how to we can see and we can you know what I'm saying, build on and create and grow and birth a new creation through life and shit like that, and move on, and you know what I'm saying, move through life and shit like that. So with that, you know what I'm saying, being the mental rebirth, and we have an embodiment of expansion of us having a work health routine pattern through our what we feel safe and secure within. We're going from there to 8th house Gemini from Scorpio, us having to build up that ability to be moldable, mutable, and adaptable, to be seen as what the fuck we're taking actions in our how we think, communicate, and build our frequency in our friends, immediate environment, and how we communicate our mind through how we being able to be moldable, mutable, and adaptable through that environment. So I'm saying, so transformating that from 8th house from Scorpio, our mental and emotional mental and emotional rebirthing that we're having through that is coming through the expansion and of the embodiment of Scorpio being in, you know what I'm saying, Lilith and shit. That's that embarrassment, desire, that deep desire, passion is being transformed in a work health routine pattern. 6th house from Gemini. It having to be seen as your embarrassment, desire, and shit of that nature having to be worked on health and routine patterns with that psychologically deep emotional waters of that, you know what I'm saying, internal fixated sustained emotions and things of that nature that you're holding on to, and wanting to transform and rebirth of anew. You see what I'm saying? So having you take the embodiment of you with your mind, and you're being able to transform in your mind and your environment, being able to transform in your mental and emotional fixated sustained waters, to be able to have a work health routine pattern in them fixated sustained waters. You know what I'm saying? Be able to take action in that in Gemini, to be able to have a work health routine in the embarrassment, desires, and the first emotional connections you had with those deep internal waters and fixated sustained fixed water of those desires, passions, motivations, and shit like that. Sex-like energy to blend two together to create a new. And embodiment of experience of embodiment from there. But it's gonna be Cancer and Jupiter and Mercury is 8th house from Sag. So that's the mental rebirth of the internal initiation, creation, birthing a new internal emotional internal emotion and home, family, privacy, security from that wisdom, knowledge, and experience, and from that being thinking,
communicating and analyzing that you're doing with your initiating, creating home, family, and privacy and shit like that, is being able to expand your embodiment on the Sag, you know what I'm saying, moon, full moon, reaping the benefits of you having a perception wrapped around what the fuck is I'm creating my emotion and that am I fulfilled around when it comes to how I perceive my spirit metaphysically traveling and reflecting and also receiving that emotion as well as creating an emotion around it. So what you're being influenced by plus what you're influencing is what you're embodying the experience of when it comes to your mental rebirth right now and your work health routine patterns of your spiritual metaphysical travels of your experience, wisdom, and knowledges is your embodiment of experience. So how you are being able to be mentally rebirthing that embodiment of experience is being coming through that internal deep waters of you fixating, sustaining, and working on you know what I'm saying, initiating, creating you know what I'm saying, anew out of that fixating, sustained emotions and internal sex, birth, life, death, regeneration, and transformation waters of your desires, passions, motivations, and yeah, birth like energy coming together to making the three like energy. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you having a, you know what I'm saying, mentally rebirth that work health routine pattern of your passions. I mean, of your perception of your metaphysical travels in that experience of that emotion that you created, as well as received with the influence and that you're receiving, as well as pushing off. So experiencing an embodiment of the mutable, mutable, and adaptable South Node being there, where you having to, in Virgo, 8th house from Aquarius, having to mentally rebirth your work health routine patterns through how you feel have a safe, secure, and multiple, mutable, adaptable work health routine pattern through that safe and security and shit like that of that mental rebirth and those desires, passions, motivations, or whatever the fuck you may have, you know, in your work health routine patterns is going to be expanded and embodied through, you know what I'm saying, the celestial creations of how you can create celestially through your power of taking control and transforming an association, your associates, or in a public arena that you naturally fixate and sustain your mind around, in your environment around your associations, your long-term vision of what you see changing and making unique and individual to your own self, you know what I'm saying, mind and, within unique mind within your associations. So embodying that expansion of your work health routine having to be seen as 6th house from Virgo, your work health routine is you being moldable, mutable, and adaptable to that fixated and sustained mind that you see what I'm saying, taking power, control, and transforming amongst your associates, and the public arena that you are in, and you got your houses in for all of these aspects and things of that nature. Is going to be what you embody in your expansion as far as in general for collectively. We all facing this and collectively, you know, flowing through this in atmosphere in the fucking in our mind, as well as the, you know what I'm saying, a collective, you know what I'm saying, spirit as well, you know what I'm saying. So expanding in our embodiment or our work health routine, you know what I'm saying, with our celestial creations, with that mental, emotional rebirth of our work health routine patterns having to come through an embodiment of an expansion of celestially recreating and fixating, sustaining, taking power, control, and transforming our associates in the public. being going on from there, having an expansion and embodiment of what we are mentally rebirthing in our emotional and internal home, as far as how we express our passion, motivation, and desires, and in general in our internal deep waters from Scorpio, 8th house from Aries, is what we mentally rebirthing. You see what I'm saying? To have a internal, mentally, emotionally fixated, sustained, deeply passionate, motivated rebirth when it comes to this desires, which is what you're going to be having to do it through your passions, motivations, and your sex, life, death, birth, regeneration, and rebirth energy is going to be flowing through, having to be mentally rebirthed through, and then embodied and expanded through the work health routine patterns from that desire, from that embarrassment. You see what I'm saying? Like, you see what I'm saying? From that desire and embarrassment with Scorpio being in Lilith, to expand on having to be a personal experience of personal transformation of value, personal affair, and an interest in what the fuck you building on reality, your imagination, faith, belief, and delusions, and with the mistakes you made in life and things of that nature, or whatever, with the personal seeds that you sown that you have to be, reaping, things of that nature and shit like that. So embodying that expansion of that internal, deep-rooted emotional rebirth, wanting to be expanded and birthed out through that work health routine pattern of that birthing system of the fire being motion pictured and bursted out from the internal deep passionate waters through what it wants to be seen and expressed and felt as in Aries and things of that nature. So experience of embodiment from there, where we're embodying our expanding our body. Expanding our embodiment on from there, from our Sag moon from 8th house from Taurus, is pretty much how we're deeply, passionately motivated to and fixate, sustain, deep passion, motivation, desire of that spiritual, metaphysical travel that we were having through the full moon in Sagittarius, to be able to create a new vision, experience, wisdom, and knowledge, being moldable, immutable, and adaptable out of that emotion that were created from that full moon, and that we reacted, responded with, influence with, as well as guiding influence. So, and embodiment from that, we're pretty much for the mental rebirth of that, our metaphysical travel through the, full moon is gonna be through our embodiment of embodiment of expansion through Taurus, Uranus and Venus. So that, is our expansion, our embodiment, and our work health routine pattern through what we mentally rebirth through the moon, being fully accumulated from what we, planted the solar season, Sagittarius season, to be able to reap the full benefits of, reflecting that, amongst the environment, things of that nature, to be able to come and mesh and relate with the atmosphere of the motherfucking spiritual, metaphysical travels of all spirits and things of that nature, to be able to expand on the embodiment of our gift, value, and talent, and work health routine patterns through that is how it's being expanded. It's how it's being the embodiment of the birth of the internal 8th house from Taurus is being expanded through the 6th house from Sagittarius, being a work health routine, moldable, mutable, and adaptable, healthy life pattern of our individuality, uniqueness of our gifts, values, and talents, and our self-sustainability, being putting that cloth on to be able to be, valued amongst the collective, as well as showing love and value and appreciation to the collective as well. So it's like you're embodying the expansion of the collective's deep rooted internal passions and metaphysically the travel you had through that and the emotional connection and reaction response that you had made through that with the Sagittarius full moon flow through how we're going to be embodying that expansion through towards being an individual give value and talent that we're having to be put on a cloth of to be seen as the work health routine pattern of our gifts, values, and talents and shit is our embodiment or expansion of this deep rooted internal passions and metaphysical travel that we have through that and shit like that. So expansion of embodiment from there, Aquarius is being, you know what I'm saying, fixated, sustained through how its eighth house count, you know what I'm saying, square would be how it's expressing its you know what I'm saying, emotions, or how it's expressing its own modalities. Different modality would be through fixating, sustaining the mind of associates in the public with that deep rooted desire, passion, motivation, and birth, sex, life, death, regeneration, rebirthing your mentally, rebirthing the collective mind as well. You know what I'm saying? To be able to embody that expansion through sixth house being expanded through Cancer. So you being having that power and transformation on your mind, from your mind being fixated and sustained amongst the collective, you know what I'm saying, and having power, control, and transformation over the associates in the public arena that you collect, building your mind up around, fixing, sustaining that internal deep passion and motivation and desire to be able to have a mentally rebirth that through a internal, you see what I'm saying, expansion of you being able to mentally rebirth that is going to be flowing through how, you know what I'm saying, the expansion of wisdom, knowledge, and experiences that we just jumped into with this Jupiter and Cancer is going to be expanding the work health routine patterns of this. So it's going to be expanding the communication, thinking, and analytical abilities of this as well, where we have our deep internal passions and motivation, desires of the collective and things of that nature of our associates in the public. So I'm saying, and building on a harsh reality of transforming, taking power and control over that to gain wisdom, new knowledge, new experiences. Jupiter and Cancer, think, communicate, and analyze and what we initiate, our emotions that we initiate and create with these conversations, or you know what I'm saying, not the conversation just but in general, but just, you know what I'm saying, embody the expansions, embodiments that we're expanding with this work health routine patterns throughout the mental rebirth. It's what's gonna be, you see what I'm saying, paid attention to have a healthy work health routine pattern of the expansion of this deep-rooted collective internal environment. So from there, that's pretty much our expression of expansion of what we're embodying, and by right now, balance of power. You know what I'm saying? We're pretty much, you know what I'm saying, Taurus, 7th house from Scorpio, balancing the power of is our relationships, relatability, and initiating, creating our own mind as far as when it comes to how we can communicate and relate our relationships with how we are relatable within ourselves and our gifts, values, and talents. Our gifts, values, and talents, and how we fixate, sustain that to initiate and create, you know what I'm saying, have a balance of power to initiate and create our relationships and relatability energy of our relationships around how we are relatable to our the collective, and you know what I'm saying, our own internal desire, passion, motivation, and fixate and sustain waters of how we can balance out our individual talent, values, gifts, and how we want to feel love, value, and appreciated for that, as well as give love, value, and appreciation for that internal internal desire reflected as a maternal, internal value reflected as a maternal value, physically, to have the internal deep desire, passion, and motivation, sex like energy, balancing the power of your relationship relatability energy to how you and your embarrassments, desires, or whatever the fuck or the case you first emotionally attached to can be, um, connected to as well, and shit like that of that nature, and balance that power out. So balance the power from that. We balancing as well Virgo, seventh house, relationships and relatability energy to how you are relatable to your own mutable, moldable, and adaptable to your own work health routine patterns and shit of that nature, with how you are comfortable, safe, and secure within that balance of power of your relationships, relatability, energy, and initiating, creating your own mind of how you can initiate and create your own you see what I'm saying, communicate your own relationship, and initiate your own relationship and relatable work health routine pattern in a healthy way and shit like that. Balancing the power to feel comfortable, safe, and secure, and balance the power to go on the spiritual path of being able to have that dream, faith, belief, and imagination that you build, that you know what I'm saying, want to have you have a work health routine pattern to be able to flow through the belief, faith, and imagination, delusion, and shit like that, to be relatable to your relationships and relationships and your relations and relatability energy, and how you initiate and create your mind and communicate, and how you can initiate communication, initiate relationships and relatability energy. Like I said, balancing the power of feeling, going on a destiny, and going on the path of your dream, faith, belief, and imagination, and delusion in general, being moldable, mutable, and adaptive to yours as well as others, and balance of power as well. You know what I'm saying? Sun, Gemini, what we are, consciously eating, and is, mind is, is spirit is shitting out through the mind and shit like that, of the thoughts and feelings of what we want to experience and shit like that, and we're eating and shitting out and shit like that, of how we are taking in this, mutable, moldable, and adaptable balance of power of how we internally go through the stage and spotlight of the the physical, or not the physical, but I could say the frequency of the creation that you're thinking your mind is interacting with the environment, and how mutable, moldable, and adaptable you are to be able to communicate your mind, and through the atmosphere and things of that nature, through the environment, as well as be moldable, mutable, and adaptable to how others communicate their mind, and how they think, communicate in their environment, things of that nature and shit like that, to their relationships, they how they think, communicate, and they relatability energy, and they relations, and how they create their own create their own mind, as far as how to, you see what I'm saying, individually, one-on-one, have a relationship with one another and shit of that nature, between our minds and shit like that, in our immediate environment, and how we create our frequency in our immediate environment, to balance the power out through the full moon in Sagittarius, with it being, you know what I'm saying, the mutable, moldable, and adaptable aspect of this part of this time of year would be like you're balancing the power of your relationships out to be you relatable with your own mind, excuse me, as well as the collective mind of what we metaphysically can travel through together, and have a wisdom, knowledge, and experience be extracted out of the reaction or response, and creation of the emotion that we're, building and going through and flowing through with the full moon in Sagittarius, wisdom, knowledge, and experience, metaphysical travel, that we have to balance our relationships, and the way we initiate and create our relationships, relatability, energy, and the way we go about our building on our mind through metaphysically traveling one-on-one with each other and things of that nature. So, hey, famous mellow ho, I love y'all. Y'all stay spiritually protected.